Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to Secrets. Here we are in November, Capricorn, and this is going to be your love reading. So when it comes to November and it comes to love, a lot of you guys have been dancing around with healing major amounts of trauma, which is the collective in general, but specifically with you guys because we had that Leo transit moving through your 8th house with that long Leo Venus stint. I would say Leo is probably one of the only other signs that was really having to reevaluate themselves with such intensity pertaining to love like you guys did, because obviously it was in their first house, whereas with you it was really cleaning out your shadow in your closet. And then we then went on, and post-September we went into October, and then we had that Libra transit, the Libra eclipse, which happened earlier this month, which again had you looking at your relationships, but on a larger scale, who it is that you wanted to marry, the kind of commitments that you wanted to have, the relationships that were meant to be more serious, who it is that you want to show up in the world as, and how the partner that you have reflects that, and making sure that whoever it is that you are partnered with and aligned with really makes you feel the most content in terms of your presentation to the outer world. So in other words, in a very simple term, no longer doing that seagoat thing where you tend to pick up people and think you can fix them or create them or envision them based on their potentiality. You guys have been stomping out that I fall in love with potential thing that Capricorns tend to run into. And also you guys have been addressing being used or using, which I did mention on our Instagram, and you guys got a lot of feedback on that and how you guys felt about it. And I will be making the video about using and being used pertaining to Capricorn. The thing is, we still, and when it comes to the toxic relationships series, I've been holding out on making the final 4th video for that. This one isn't necessarily a part of that. I don't know if I might do that. But for those of you who have not seen the Toxic Relationship series yet, take a look at that because I do mention using, but also keep in mind I will be making a bigger video about this, just so you guys know. But anyway, so let's get into this month for November. And like I said, so October was cleaning things out, envisioning what it is that you truly wanted. This Taurus eclipse has you looking at your self-worth and your self-value in a very big light. You are slowly but surely separating from anything that has ever stood in your way in terms of the ways that you compromised yourself and your pleasure in your life. Your standards have changed because you've been cleaning out your romantic closet for a long time, and also your family closet, friend closet, who you know who it is that you don't want around you. And now this Taurus in the Libra transit made it so that you were hyper aware of who you don't want around you. And this Taurus transit is making it so that you're now entering or allowing more people into your space that you do want around you. So you've been kind of noticing that there are more people kind of randomly showing up that seem to suit some ideas about what it is that you want to see for your future, some of the things that you envisioned during the Libra eclipse just in your visualization's sake, and some of the things that you wanted to see, like, oh, it would be great if I had a person like this, or if I had friends that seemed like that, or if the world understood me this way, and I made sure that I had connections, friendships, relationships that then reflected that. So during this Taurus transit, you're starting to see those things come into fruition. It's not to say that you're not dealing with some kind of anger, because you might be dealing with a little bit of it. But it's more like the universe is gifting you those things that you desire the most for your pleasure. And that is what's going to take you into November. And starting November, one of the biggest things you are aware of is relationships that give to you. Relationships that make you feel the best, that increase your viewpoint of pleasure. So obviously on a basic level, that's down to sexuality, sensuality, relationships that really give to that deep sensual desire that the sea goat has to be matched sexually. In general, sex tends to be a big part of the ways in which most of you guys express yourselves, and being hyper aware of wanting a more intimate and a more satisfying sexual connection Also, the awareness of how you've been treating yourself and the way in which you've learned to love yourself, and you really want that reflected back to you in the best way possible, and you refuse to compromise, which is lovely. And so when November begins, you are aware of who you want to see around you, because they are the people that give the most to you and make you feel the most complete, especially because you've been getting rid of everyone else. So bit by bit, as the year has gone by, you've just been wielding that sword. And now as November starts, you're no longer swinging it. It's more like, okay, everybody that's needed to go kind of has gone, or if they're not completely gone, you have your boundaries set, and now it's about letting things in, which is great. So we have a lot going on. You're going to be able to have fun, especially when you want to talk about romantic love. There's a lot of healing. So for those of you who are in relationships, all that hard, heavy work that you've been putting in throughout the year, now November is going to see it in a sense of like, we're breathing now. Obviously, November begins and Scorpio season is notorious for the Scorpion energy. And so things are going to feel deeper, more intense, but the kind of conversations that are healing. So you're not afraid to talk about the darker or deeper sides of things with your partner, but it's more about building intimacy. It's more about reminding each other that you love each other and diving deeper into your connection, awakening a new door, or walking into a new door about how serious you guys can get and how much more you can know each other as well. For those of you who are single, you are interested in connecting with people that there is no extra fluff. So Capricorns are notorious where you guys don't like all the extra fluff in general, but this time you are much more unapologetic about it, and you really want to make sure that who it is that you're connecting with, it's almost like an automatic yes. But in this case, even though you're walking into it from the deeper realm, it's also fun and it's pleasurable. Why? Mainly because you are going to be connecting with people that you kind of feel like, oh, I can trust this person, this feels good, this feels safe. So now I can unveil, I can show them who I really am. I can have a little bit more zest with this. I can feel more free. I'm not in a power struggle, or I'm not playing a game. I don't have to worry, because all of those energies, because anyone that you did have to disconnect from was really just a reflection of an energy. The way that a piece of yourself that you were too tolerant of, or a behavior pattern that you were too tolerant of being reflected to you in the form of other people. So now that you've gotten rid of that energy, you're open to things that are just much better for you. So you don't have to kind of walk into situations with that armor on. You can kind of feel more fluid, and you can feel more like that sea goat that's welcoming all that is possible around you. And in general, you're just around people that you can trust on a very simple level. And it feels very, very good, especially after the kind of year that you've had. You're also getting apologies. So some of you may be running into apologies that are long overdue, specifically from friends and also family. In terms of love, I think throughout the year, on and off, you've been getting various apologies. Just based on different transits, especially throughout the Venus retrograde. Some of you, the apologies came beforehand. This time in November, it's mainly from people that chose not to see your struggle. So it could have been people that kind of took advantage of you when you were at your lowest hour, people that couldn't necessarily see what it is that you were going through, or all the things that you held in. All of a sudden, these old friendships or old partnerships are coming to be found again, and people are saying, wow, I didn't know you went through that. I didn't know that you were going through that. I didn't know that this was your story. So you're starting to be seen for who it is that you are, which happened in October, and November is coming in to say, it's almost like people were waking up to you in October, and now they're wanting to hug you in November, in that sense of like, goodness, for some reason I just started to see you. And then November is like, now I'm really understanding you. And it's going to feel very, very good, because it's long overdue for you guys. This feeling that you're being held and taken care of, and people value you, and they understand the things that you have gone through and want to help you, which is really, really good. They want to love you and love on you. You're really focused on partnerships and relationships in general. And that could be causing some delays because you're hyper focused on your relationships. It's not to say that career life isn't going to be important during November, because it definitely is, and you'll see that in the career reading, but you're mostly focused on your connections for the month of November and how to nurture them. They're feeling so good to you, you want to give as much energy to them as possible. You've learned so much at this point, and you just want to kind of bathe in and bask in the things that feel pleasurable and feel good, and you want to have fun, which is a great feeling as well, because it's felt like you haven't had fun in a long time. Big endings in love and also big beginnings. So this, again, most of you have let go of that which needed to be let go of, but if you're still holding on to someone or something, that final cord is going to be cut, luckily for you, but it's not going to feel so heavy. It's going to feel very light. Again, after these two eclipses, you're no longer in a space where anything that does not serve you doesn't feel so heavy. It doesn't feel like, oh, I can't let go of this. Now you're just, oh, well, you know what, I could put this down. I don't need to hold on to it. I don't need to keep this going if it's not entirely necessary. And then better yet, the new beginnings. So as you let go, new comes in. And it can be as serendipitous, especially for singles, as just having options that you're really happy about. Or for those of you who are partnered, it's like, okay, let's let go of this old fight, and you can finally put it down. You can finally put down that old karma and welcome in a new chapter in you guys' relationship that just feels so good and so beautiful, similar to some of the romanticism that was being experienced in September, but this time without any shadow. Because in September, there were these beautiful moments, but there was also this shadow that was still kind of being cast around things. November, the shadow is gone. It's been finished. It's been completed in October, and it's just, okay, let's start new. Let's begin again. Things are in a better place, which is nice. November begins with the Venus in Virgo. So during Venus in Virgo, you guys have been made aware of what it is that you want when it comes to love in terms of people giving to you, because you guys are givers. And you've learned the value of not being the only one in that, I guess, not being one-sided in terms of what it is that you're showing up with. You are now aware of what it is that you want to receive. So you're no longer putting yourself last, and you've had to learn how to put yourself first and understand that you deserve to, in fact, be put first. And that makes the love better. It makes it more sacred, mainly because you are givers yourselves, which feels really, really good. Virgo is then moving into Libra, and as it moves into Libra, it's bringing in a lot of pleasure, things that you envisioned during the Libra eclipse in October, you're now able to put into fruition. So those seeds that you planted where you said, you know what, I want a relationship like this, or I want to experience that, I want to feel like this, I want people to treat me this way, you're going to then see those fruits blossom all throughout November. So it's going to feel very good, because it's going to feel like a hug in terms of your manifestation abilities. Like, when I was in this shadow, I planted this seed, and I just, through my anger, through my frustration, this is what you guys did, and it came about, which is going to feel very good. And in terms of relationships or permanent connections, being able to say what's done is done, and now this new thing has been created, and now we can move forward with that as well, which is good. You're going to be bonding a lot in terms of your belief systems. You also can find yourself connecting with people that are quite foreign to you, people that are very different to you, expanding more on things culturally, or people that have very different belief systems than you, and creating these serendipitous, almost home-like environments with people that are different from you, feeling kind of like you have a better space there than the space that you had before. Powerful change, obviously a lot of harmony is coming in, leaving behind old relationship dynamics in general, things that did not serve you, things that hurt you. It's a big time to create the ideal love story, especially for those of you that are on your third marriage, or those of you that are on your third big love. You know, we always say that the third love tends to be the best one, or the more permanent one. But that's a part of the dynamic in terms of being able to create something ideal, mainly because of the work that you guys have put been putting in terms of your healing process. Right. Commitment is on your mind, and that is your main priority. So the big relationship, less about pleasure and casual relationships, and more about what it is that you want to see yourself in on a permanent level and how to nurture that energy. When Mercury goes into Sagittarius, you're deep in your subconscious and you're likely to apply that in love. So you're going to want to be going out more, which is good, because many of you guys have kind of been in hermit mode kind of all year, just because of different things that have been taking place on the outside, and you kind of putting yourself in a healing space on the inside. When Sagittarius starts to come full circle, because Sagittarius is in your subconscious, it's in your 12th house, it's in your Pisces house. There's a lot going through your mind in terms of visualization and manifestations that you want to bring forward, which is going to feel very good, and you want to apply the things that are running through your mind. However, it's important to stay grounded and not get swept up in love stories, or get swept up in your visualizations to a point where you make someone or something that is really just maybe not permanent, or a potential into something more serious than it should be. On the 24th, Mars goes into Sagittarius, and you can now actively create what it is that you desire the most in love, that you have been really deep in your manifestation when it comes through all of November. Again, applying, creating, thinking, especially if you're dating, you're sifting through, kind of gathering things, ready to see through the permanent connection that you desire the most. Pisces goes direct on the 4th of November. I'm sorry, I'm not going in order. But when Pisces goes direct, again, there's going to be less delays and issues when it comes to creating what it is that you want the most when it comes to love and your connections, your friendships, etc. So that block is not necessarily going to be there anymore. You're not in the space of manifestation because you're being stalled on the external. There's a lot of movement. So what it is that you want, you can see what it is that you desire can come full circle in a much more seamless way, which is good. As I mentioned, because of the ways in which you've healed yourself, you're able to welcome better love because of all the things that you have been through. From the 6th to the 8th, there's a lot going on in terms of love and warmth. Also, well, that's for the career reading. I was going to say your wealth, but feelings of love and warmth kind of oozing through you there. So I would say to put that time on your calendar, the 6th through the 8th, especially for those of you who are coupled. Take some time to go out and connect with each other. And if you are single, I would say go out on the towns, try to meet someone or plan some dates for that time period. Scorpio has you deep in your desires, and I would say release all inhibitions and go deep and welcome all of the pleasure that you possibly can, because it's going to help you explore the deeper parts of yourself, and most importantly, heal you from all of the baggage that you guys have been going through. Awaken to Tantra, awaken to the ways in which your connections with other people can further better your dynamic with yourself, especially as the end of the month happens, because there is a moon transit that is happening. I believe it's the Gemini moon that's happening at the end of November, that's going to make you aware of your health. And for you guys, it's mostly your mental health, because that has what has been taken a big toll during your healing process of Pluto transits and the retrogrades and all of the baggage that Capricorn has been carrying, that's now being lifted and will continue to stay lifted and get higher and higher during this last leg of the Pluto transit for you, which is great. After November, things are going to be much lighter, and 2024 is just going to be a much lighter time in general. Yes, you are still being transformed. Yes, Pluto is still in your sign, but it's more like transformation in a way that's much more seamless. And at the end of this month, you're going to be aware, and even if you don't want to be, you're going to be made aware of the damage that has been taken on your emotional and mental health, and you really want to prioritize it and see what it is that you can do in order to better yourself. As I always say, if you guys want to connect with me when it comes to meditations, or put yourself on as a permanent, which a lot of you guys have done, made yourself 6-month clients or a yearly client, and we've been healing through your traumas and healing through your wars. It's a lot easier for me to connect with you guys that way. But of course, that's the link in the bio, or actually I can put it on either side on this video, and you guys can tell me how you're feeling about that, if you need my help in terms of connecting and healing. There are some things about old heartbreak that are going to kind of be shadowing this month, and that is probably the dark side, because as you are aware of what it is that you desire the most and opening yourself up to pleasure, there is going to be this heavy shadow of things that you've experienced in the past, and the pains of the past, and the traumas of the past, especially for those of you that went through it more recently. I just want you to remember not to rush your process, and that yes, it's going to be a lot of dark versus light. Don't fight it, because anything that you're being made aware of the pain that you've experienced then is going to help you in the moment. Some of you may be feeling so downtrodden by the things that you've experienced in the past that you're worried that you can't bring forth the love that you truly desire in the now. Whether it is romantically, friendship-wise, or family-wise, you will be hitting moments this month where you're concerned about your ability to make it. But just understand that it's a part of the process to get you on the other side. And take some time to breathe deep. Your emotional well-being is very important, and there's wealth that needs to be discovered when it comes to relationships. Learn how to think of relationships in terms of wealth, and it will continue to heal the things that have hurt you up until this point. Yeah, like I said, you're going to see a boost in your dating life. So in Sagittarius season, for those of you that are partnered, you guys are going to be going out more, which is going to be great, seeing through some of the dreams and the ideas that you guys wanted to see in terms of romantic ideologies that you put out toward each other. And then for those of you that are single, just a boost in your dating life and going out more, meeting more people, or meeting the one that you want to connect with and spending more time with them, and it feeling more lighthearted and you actually feeling like you have more time to spread that energy. And again, attracting serious commitments and being able to see them through, which feels very, very good for you guys and what it is that you can create. Again, Scorpio season is about being in the deep. So there's a lot of energy that's going to be pushing through with all these Sagittarius placements, but understand that this first half of November is about moving a little bit more slowly. I'm not saying to stall, because action will be moving anyway, especially as Pisces goes direct, but it's more about allowing yourself to be in a more emotional, deeper space and allowing that to be what it is that you're using to connect with other people. And then when the shift happens, things kind of feeling a little bit lighter and a little bit more action oriented, which is going to feel nice. So, all right, so that is your astrology. Let's get into the reading. All right, Capricorn. So here we are with your love reading for November. It's quite interesting. Definitely not what I was expecting, but at the same time, here we are, right? So the same story is being said all throughout this, and it's quite loud, which is this journey of the pain of the past and the idea of moving toward a happier future. It's interesting because I flipped these over as they naturally were in their organic orientation. And here we have this moment of 1, 2, 3, 4, all in alignment. 1, 2, 3, 4, also all in alignment. And it's so funny because here we have one story being told, and then we have the other. As if the light showed up all in alignment with one another, and the shadow showed up all in alignment with one another. Interesting. It's like telling two stories in order to reach one goal. And then here we have at the end kind of this Four of Pentacles, which is a Capricorn card, showing itself here at this end point, looking like what you refused to give. And I know last month we had the Four of Pentacles showing up in the shadow for various things. But this time around it's upright. But here it is as your block. The fact that you are not willing to give, not willing to extend yourself. You're being very self-protective. You're keeping everything close to the cuff, everything close to yourself. And you feel as if, though, this is your intuition. Your intuition is we have the Two of Swords here in reverse. And your intuition feels like it's blocked, but in your mind, you are guiding yourself in the right direction. And although you are feeling confused and foggy, you are following this feeling and calling it your intuition. When in actuality, it's just due to this fear, and the two are going back and forth. So you're afraid to let go, you're afraid to give, and you're telling yourself that it's your intuition, even though your intuition feels foggy and like you can't trust it, and it's going back and forth and back and forth. And then here we have at the end the King of Pentacles in reverse. So for some of you, it could be feeling like you don't have enough to give a commitment, or it's this feeling like you have not found your King of Pentacles, which ultimately is a strong commitment when you want to talk, when you're talking about things like love, whether the person shows up as feminine or masculine. When a King of Pentacles enters into your life, this is someone that desires to have a strong, solid, virtuous, and long commitment with you, especially with that sitting here. We've got engagement and wedding as the clarifications for what's going on in the subject. So this is a big, strong conversation, which makes sense because, as I was saying in the astrology, with Venus being in Libra, it is in your 10th house. So you are thinking about commitment. You're thinking about serious relationship. You're thinking about this future-based idea about what it is that you want, although you're dealing with fear. So you don't necessarily want to give out of fear, but at the same time, you know that this is exactly what it is that you want. And all of the things that you guys have been through, the pain that you're carrying, November is going to see you kind of battling with that, because we've got this Ten of Swords here. And the Ten of Swords is painful to look at the end of the day. However, the Ten of Swords is all about the end of that cycle. So you're at the end of this pain, of this difficulty, of whatever trauma it is that you've experienced in your love life in the past. And when you look at the transits, it makes perfect sense. So if you're at the end now, especially after this Taurus eclipse, is your mind actually available with understanding that? Does your mind understand that you're out of your shadow, or are you still feeling like your shadow is haunting you? Because right next to it, we've got this Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is the exact opposite. The Knight of Wands is full of passion, power, optimism, idealism. The Knight of Wands runs fast right into whatever it is that, I'm going to say he, because the Knight represents a masculine energy, runs fast into what it is that he desires, and does it with very little thought about the consequences or what it is that's going to be seen through the end. So you're full of passion and you want to bring forth this love that you desire the most, but it's like what you're carrying is this Ten of Swords. So every time you want to rush forward, this pain is holding you back. Every time you want to see through what it is that you want, this pain is like keeping you stuck. And next to that, we have the advice here. And as I said, keep in mind, these are not here to clarify these cards. All of these came out in organic notion, so they are all individualistic. But here we have relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. I don't think it's any coincidence that it shows up right next to the Ten of Swords. Because here we have this idea that this pain and this darkness and this difficulty is what's keeping you stuck. And the advice here is to let it go. But not just let it go as in sail away from it, but it's relax this hold of darkness and be at cause. Meaning it's here with you, and in a way, understanding the pain that you've been through is a part of what's going to help you in November. So it's not a matter of, having to sail away from it and act as if though it doesn't exist and it's a figment of your imagination. It's more like holding on, not holding on to it, it's holding steady. So you guys know that moment when you've been through something difficult in your life and it was very painful, but in a way, understanding it and coming to terms with it helps you grow and develop, helps you become wiser. It's that interesting intersection of growth through opposition. So in a way, what this card is saying is to sit with what it is that you have been through, sit with what it is that you know, but let it go. You're no longer in a space where you're unsafe. Those lessons that you needed to learn, you're no longer learning. Those experiences are no longer going to exist. You cannot let your anxiety and your fear govern what it is that you're doing, because the 10 swords have already fallen. There is nothing else here to happen. There is no other lesson for one of these swords to inflict. It's the past. It truly is the past. And next to that, we have dream a beautiful dream. So moving with this Knight of Wands, it's like, you can create what it is that you desire the most. You can passionately move forward into a serious commitment, into partnership, into union. These are very strong in terms of understanding what it is that you desire, which is this serious alignment. But you're also dealing with the pain of it. It's a matter of sitting still, especially as November is mostly Scorpio season, kind of as I mentioned. So this stillness, this quietness, this transmutation, is that a word? No, transmutation is not a word. To transmute, I guess, that pain and those lessons, and to use them to create that which you desire the most. And it's kind of moving with one in order to find the other. And that is where your passion can move forward to what it is that you want. These fears that are holding you back is, you don't want to give. You're afraid. You've been taken from, or you've been beaten up, or whatever it is. Your intuition feels foggy. You're like, I don't know if I can go toward this. I don't know if I can go toward that. I don't know if I can trust this. What if this is not a good idea? If it's a specific person, you're questioning that person. You're questioning the future that you guys can hold. If you are single and trying to get back on the bandwagon, you're kind of going into this space where I think this pain in general has caused your intuition to feel blocks and is making it so that you're protecting yourself at all costs because you feel like you cannot offer this stability. You're worried about what it is that will happen. This reading definitely feels more toward those who are in that range more than it does couples. It just feels more individualistic. In terms of couples, I would say, again, it's like the pain that has gone on at this point and what it is that you can do in order to move forward. So let's go into the healing points now. So down here we have practice connecting to the joy that is always deep within you. Pay attention to what brings you exquisite delight. If you do not know what that is, you are guided to experiment and explore. Again, this working with this Knight of Wands energy, this dream a beautiful dream energy. We have engagement, partnership, commitment, it's just this feeling of in order to heal from the pain of yesterday, in order to move into what it is that you desire the most, it's about connecting with what is still left inside of you, which is this love, this capacity to love, this capacity to extend yourself and connect with those who desire to connect with you. But it does start with the self. I think in general, many of you are probably sitting in a bit of a shadowy space when it comes to things like love and feeling. I don't necessarily see defeat here, even though we are sitting with the Ten of Swords. It's not a feeling of defeat. It's more of a feeling of fear more than anything. To continue here, we have connecting to the joyful capacity of your heart will heal so much negativity and uncertainty. Again, negativity and uncertainty going on here with the King of Pentacles in reverse, the Four of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords in reverse. Uncertainty is feeding negativity and back and forth because this pain here is making you feel unstable, scared, worried, almost feeling like you cannot trust in this journey of love and what it is that you desire to create. But again, all of this is happening in your 10th house. We have Libra in Venus in your 10th house. So love is on your mind. Even if you try to run away from it, it is a big topic for you this month. And it is in a space of how the damage that it's caused on a larger scale and the healing that it can cause on the same scale. And that's 10th house. Connecting to the joyful capacity of your heart will heal so much negativity and uncertainty. Let your heart relax. Again, relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. Allow the heart to relax. Allow your energy to relax in order to move passionately toward what it is that you want. and create the life that it is that you desire the most. This visualization of still being able to create this and be in this space here where you can have these unions is going to be the solution to what it is that you are so fearful of. Allow the spiritual grace that wishes to reorder your life, dream a beautiful dream, relax the hold of darkness, create something new, to manifest its miraculous magic. So again, it's going back into that space within you and allowing that to heal you in a softer, and I think I was mentioning Scorpio, but I don't know if I finished what it is that I was saying. Scorpio season is a majority of what we're dealing with in November. Even when we step into Sagittarius season, it's still the air of Scorpio kind of all throughout that energy of Sagittarius. And it's very introspective for you. You are in a more quiet space. It's not a stalling space. It's not a scary space, but it is one of healing, introspection, intuition. And so I'm not surprised here to see kind of this silent healing, this quietness, this going within the self and putting yourself back together, allowing the water to rush through you in order to bring forth this new passionate beginning, this fire energy that can say, I'm running headfirst into what it is that I desire, and I'm doing it without fear. I'm still here despite these things that have happened, and I understand that the 10 swords have fallen and there isn't anything else to happen when it comes to this dynamic of these pains and these difficulties. To go to the other healing point, again, one of also big empowerment. This is one of my favorite cards within the deck. So when it comes to this card in specific, it is, in this particular spread, it is about empowerment. But the card itself is reflective of things like biology, gender, extending beyond stereotypes, embracing the journey of what it feels like to be you. So I'm going to ensure that I do not hyper-gender this perspective. So I will read from a certain space where I say, embrace the journey of what it feels like to be you in your own body. There is much benefit and healing to be gained through the embrace of your life journey, including your deeper experience of the absolute freedom of your spirit. So the biggest thing when it comes to this card is understanding the empowerment of the individual self. So extending beyond the things that have once bounded you or kept you in a space of self-criticism. Now that you guys have this new sense of self-worth, you know the value that it is that you hold, and no one can really take that away from you, which is powerful. And so it's coming from this strong space of the feminine energy. And this is, again, the feminine energy is neither here nor there in terms of gender, but creating from that space that deep sense of knowing that you can attract what it is that you desire. And through your individualistic self, that is where your power comes into full force. You're no longer in a space where this wounding is going to take place, and you can attract what it is that you want exactly as you are. So in a way, I would say that this reading it's complex. It's understanding that you're dealing with a shadow, but the shadow is not, there is no opposition here besides the opposition that you're dealing with your own subconscious mind. Everything else is already moving forward. There is constant forward movement here happening for you. Your love life is taking this turn regardless of where it is that you want it to be, or the ways in which you want to kind of hold yourself back or stall yourself or stop yourself. This wheel is in fact turning, but it's just you going through a healing process. And almost like if I imagine this as a circular experience here, it's like we're moving from here into here, and this is what's moving forward, as if moving through the pain is what brings forth the passion and having that clarity. I would say a majority of you should be on the lookout for a potential commitment of whatever it is that you desire. Obviously, if you're looking for something more serious, if you're just looking for a person that you feel like you can connect to, and for those of you that are coupled, you're going to end this month in a very beautiful space. You're going to end this month in a healed and new, renewed space. All of the work, kind of like what I mentioned in the astrology, where it's like all of the work that has been put into this new beginning is coming full circle when we reach the end of the month here. But just